Hey, what's going on? This is Vinay and Shravan. We are working on automated evaluation system. So as you can see, we used Google Sites for user interface, and these Google Sites in turn will be connected to Google Forms and then to Google Spreadsheet to capture the data. So let's get started with this Google Sites. The big progress what we made for this Springtree is this login form. Previously we were using Google account credentials to log into our website automated evaluation system, but we found out a way without using Google credentials to log into our website. See, here in this case I will not be using any Google credentials, and this makes sure that this window is opened in incognito mode to verify that. So I am using my custom user credentials which I got from spreadsheets. So let's say I logged in with some random username and password, and when I try to log in from here, this will be checked with spreadsheet. Let's see how this stuff works. Let's go to the script, and as you can see there is a form here with text box and password. So this will be compared with this scriptlet. So this scriptlet fetches the data from a spreadsheet which has username and password in it, and this event will be done on load. So on page load, the usernames and passwords of spreadsheet will be fetched to this login.html, and they will be compared against our username and password which we are going to enter, and thus if they are valid we can go through login. And along with that, this is the styling CSS we used for this login form. Okay, so this is how. Now we will enter proper username and password and click on sign in. Yep, we are able to sign. And this one is Google Form validation. So I just kept it intentionally to show the difference between our login and Google Form login. So I kept just some at the Gmail validation for email, and now some mandatory password. As you can see, we can't validate the username and password dynamically like I did in previously in Google Sites through the app script. So once I click on next, no matter what we give, we just proceed here. So that's the difference how we created our login. So now we'll get to choose the project. Say we chose Google Hangouts, click next, and now we can choose our theme. Let's say I chose Shubha, and I evaluated his ratings, and you can give your valuable feedback, and make sure we enter correct tech ID because it is validated with 8-number digit and with some specific evaluator IDs what we have in our stack, and click on submit. It gets submitted. Now let's see the backend part of it now. As you can see, these are all the summary of responses whatever we got. Say now we just now submitted Shubha's response, so this will be somewhere around here, get stored. Yeah, so this is where it is. Since all this part looks messy, we went to just take the evaluations based on their criterion or like based on their department. As you can see, there is automated evaluation system for particular automated evaluation system part, and Google Hangouts to evaluate Google Hangouts project, and productivity software for productivity software, and so does new technology. And now the same data in the responses gets copied to Google Hangouts sheet. So if you go to the end, you can find the latest response here. So he has got responses like 4.343 ratings. So let's see how to calculate the average path and send the summary of responses back to the evaluatee and evaluator. So if you can see, there is separate function written for average, and this calculates the average based on the columns of the last row and fetches us the value, and this function will be called on-form submission. So once evaluation is done by the user, so that the evaluatee's responses are average is calculated and sent back to the evaluatee as well as evaluator. So this is another function, calculate average of average. This gives us the cumulative average of averages. Let's see in the form how it looks. So as you can see, say for example Sushit and Sunil, there are a lot of evaluations of them. So if we want to know the average of all the averages whatever we calculated here, so that function helps us calculate the average of averages, which in turn is helpful to see the deviant evaluation of that particular team. So if someone gives around some 1 or 5, so here the averages of averages are shown like 2.82. So if someone deviates more than 1, we can find the anomalous data. And finally, this summary of results are sent back to both evaluatee as well as evaluator. And let me show you that function too. So this send summary to evaluator gives us the summary of all the evaluations whatever he has done in a particular format, and same way so does evaluatee too in that function. And this notify helps us notify first that you have done something like evaluation, and so in this way all these functions are calculated, and they are calculated in a process one after the other, like first average, then average of averages, then after that notify evaluator, and then summary of evaluations to evaluator as well as evaluatee. So this is what we have done till now, and what we are planning to do is, like, we already came to know how to give the privileges to admin, evaluator, evaluatees. So what we to see the extra privileges granted to the admin, and the same way if there are any more required forms to be integrated, and finally the CSS part of the Google Forms. Thank you.